because of him. But I didn't. Because he wanted a scene. So I stepped around him, opened my car door, and said just one thing. You lied. I thrived. And now you have to live with that. I left him standing in the parking lot. That night, I had dinner with my grandmother. She was the only one who never needed proof. I told her everything, about the email, the messages, even the run-in with Nathan. She listened, her hands folded neatly in her lap, only nodding occasionally. After I finished, she reached across the table and held my hand. You did good, she said. That was all I needed. A week later, I got a certified letter from my parents' lawyer. Apparently, they were considering defamation proceedings over my email to the family. I laughed. Loudly. My own lawyer. Yes. I finally hired one for myself. Told me to relax. Their claims were baseless. Empty threats. The attached evidence alone, especially Nathan's own written admission, would bury them. I never heard back from their lawyer. They went quiet again. I guess when you stop being useful, you disappear. That's when I decided to do something I hadn't done in years. I framed the note they left on my trash bag that night. You're on your own now. Learn something from this. It hangs in my office now, right next to my Chamber of Commerce award. Some people frame their diplomas. I framed a warning, and turned it into a promise. Spare. That's what he called me. Just a spare. A ghost in the family photo. A seat left empty at dinners. A name barely said aloud unless it followed the phrase, "What's wrong with her?" But do you want to know the cruelest part of being a spare? Spare parts get recycled. And that's exactly what they tried to do. Recycle me. It began again with a knock. Not a voicemail, not a message. Not another car on the street. A knock on my door, just after dusk. I almost didn't answer it. But something in me needed to. When I opened it, I didn't see my father. I saw a man shrinking inside his own body. Gone was the gruff voice. Gone is the superiority. He stood there in a threadbare sweater, holding an envelope. Not a letter. A stack of papers. I'm signing over the house to you, he said, not even looking at me. Your grandmother said, you'd earned it more than any of us ever did. My grandmother. That was the moment I knew something was wrong. She's sick, he added, finally meeting my eyes. No preamble. No manipulation. Just a fact. Cancer. Stage 4. We sat in silence on my porch. The same porch where my mother once begged for a spare room. She didn't want to tell you, he muttered. Said it would distract you from your work. Said she was proud. Proud. That word hit harder than anything else he could have said. I stared out at the garden she helped me build last spring. Lavender, rosemary, and marigolds. She called it her living prayer. I could still see the faded gloves hanging over the fence where she forgot them last week. I swallowed my anger. Because this wasn't about them anymore. This was about her. She passed 3 weeks later. At home. My home. The one they once said I didn't deserve. I held her hand as her breaths grew shallower. She wasn't afraid. She just said, promise me you'll plant something new every spring. That's how you start over. And then she left me. But not before giving me the final gift. A truth I never expected. I found it in a small wooden box under her bed, sealed with a letter. Her handwriting. Slanted. Neat. Unmistakable. To the granddaughter they never saw. Inside was a stack of old journal entries. Yellowing paper. Notes dated from when I was 9, 11, 14, ages I had long tried to forget. She had written everything. My birthdays were ignored. The bruises. The lies. The way Nathan staged every accusation. The way my mother called me a mistake when she thought no one was listening. Proof. She had documented it all. And at the bottom of the box? A deed transfer for her house. Already notarized. Already signed. She had made me the sole heir. I didn't cry. Not because I wasn't devastated, but because her final act wasn't about sadness. It was justice. She had rewritten our legacy. The funeral was small. I kept it that way on purpose. No open invitation. No family circus. Just a list of names I knew would stand still during silence and not try to rewrite history. But of course, they came anyway. Nathan. My mother. dressed in black like it could mask anything. Standing by the edge of the crowd, waiting for a moment to insert themselves. After the final prayer, my mother approached. She didn't cry. She just looked around at the garden, the house, the community of friends and colleagues gathered around me, people who chose me. Then she asked, "Is it true? Did she leave it all to you?" I looked her in the eye and said the one thing she always denied me. Yes. That night, they left a letter on my doorstep. Typed, formal, sterile. A request for temporary accommodation, for healing and transition, it said. They wanted to live in the house. Her house. The same house they'd abandoned her in when she took me in. I sat there for a long time. And then I wrote them back. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Turner, thank you for your interest in staying at the residence located at 49 Maplewood Lane. At this time, all rooms are currently occupied by peace, silence, dignity, and the long overdue scent of lavender. As such, we are unable to accommodate guests who abandoned these values in the past. May you find shelter in the structures you built with your choices. Kindly, the Spare No More. It went viral. Because I posted it, and for once, I told my own story. No edits, no shame, no revenge, just the unfiltered truth. People shared it, stitched it, messaged me. Not for drama, but for relief. Because I wasn't alone. There are so many of us. So many spares, who was actually the whole damn engine? Today I walked through my grandmother's garden and planted something new. Just as I promised. A single white rose bush, named Rebirth. And this time, the story doesn't end with exile or anger. It ends with roots. Because I am not a spare. I am the seed that survived. Thanks for watching and being part of the drama. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a wild news story.